And without further ado,
Big shout out for Grace.
with this.
Okay, well, thank you all for having me. I'm actually really excited to be giving this talk in front of like other product people. Yeah, and thank you to the Now Next product team for organizing this. All right, so a quick raise of hands. Who here would consider themselves an introvert? Oh wow, that was a lot more than I expected. Okay, that's good. Well, for those of you who did put your hand up, you're in good company. My name is Grace Yusuff. I'm a product manager at a lovely company named Smart Numbers. And believe it or not, I'm an introvert. So being on stage today, I'm literally clapping my hands. So guys, support me. Thank you very much. All right. Well, as product managers, I'm sure most of you can agree that people expect us to be very outspoken and bubbly and very vocal, turned on all the time. Well, that's kind of what I thought about product managers before I moved into the role, and I'm sure you guys can agree. But today I want to challenge that mindset. I want to talk through some of the key skills that product managers do actually need to be successful, debunk their association to extroversion, and show how introverts can actually be successful in their role. Okay, this is the 21st century, so I do want to start with a disclaimer. I am in no way saying that extroverts are more valuable than introverts or introverts are more valuable than extroverts. I'm just taking time to appreciate our introverted people and show that it can actually be a superpower in the product management world. Okay, now disclaimer aside, I'll start with a story, and I promise it's relevant. So before I moved into the world of product, I had a very difficult and completely different job as a product designer. And while the roles did have some overlap, there was a running joke within our design team that of the two, product designers were the one who actually delivered value. Now, I didn't make the joke, that's what I heard, but it's relevant to the story, so I'm sharing it today. So you can imagine my surprise when my design manager pulls me into a meeting and is just like, you've been offered a role on the product management team. Very scary, very shocking. A product manager, from what I had worked with, had a level of outspokenness and leadership that I just wasn't comfortable with. So I declined the role and I thought that was that. A week later, I get a meeting in my diary with the head of product. No, it was a Friday morning meeting, no agenda, very vague title. I very much thought I was getting fired. But I will never forget what we talked about in that meeting. I shared a lot of my concerns about having to talk to people and having to people please, which is secretly what we call management, and all the things that I just absolutely hated about the product managers that I'd worked with. Sorry to the product management team. And he told me something that I'll always remember till this day. Product managers, yes, we lead, but it's not about how much you speak or how loud you talk. It's about the value of what you have to say. People don't follow noise, they follow clarity. And for the first time, I realized that my introversion wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. And I could lead and be a successful product manager in a way that was comfortable to me. So I took the leap into product management, and to be honest, I've loved it ever since. But it has not been without challenges, as I'm sure many of you can attest to. But I've learned to navigate them through my own ways, learning how to manage my personality while still being successful with the role. And a lot of that was unlearning the myths that I had picked up about what it took to be a successful product manager. And the first one is around visibility and influence. Now, it is true, product managers do need to have visibility and do need to be influential. It helps with aligning our teams, it helps with getting stakeholder buy-in, and it's just really good for the overall success of the team and the product. But what that can sometimes mean is needing to have a personality trait that is quite outspoken or vocal, or just something that's easy for other people to buy into. However, what I would argue is that it's not about what you say or how enthusiastically you say it, but it's about the value of what you have to say. As introverts, we have the ability to listen deeply and look at things from a broader perspective. So when we are coming to the conversation, our ideas are thoughtful, they're clear, and they cut through the noise to get through what really matters. And as we continue to deliver those really valuable perspectives, our team begin to trust us more, we develop influence, and then we earn the visibility. The next one is around being a strong collaborator. Now, cross-functional collaboration is pretty much the foundation of what we do as product managers. We work with engineers, we work with analysts, designers, marketers, just so many people from so many different diverse backgrounds and also from across different functions. So it's super important to be able to pull all of those heads together to effectively have conversations about how to solve the problems that we have within our products. And again, personality traits are a little bit more leading in the conversation and just always feeling the need to put ideas on the table can sometimes be confused with being a good collaborator. But I would argue that that misses the core part of being a strong collaborator. And the reality is that a strong collaborator is someone who can create an environment that is inclusive, that is respectful of everyone, and also psychologically safe. People feel more comfortable when they're able to say silly ideas, which I'm sure no one in this room has ever had. So I believe that strong collaboration is more about the environment you create as a product manager, not about being the one who's always leading that conversation. And lastly, calm and composed under pressure. And I don't know why I put this one here, because I'm sure all of you know that in the very consistent and predictable and always going to plan world of product management, things are always delivered on time and according to scope. But on the rare chance that things do go wrong, a product manager does need to know how to remain calm under pressure. Ideally, your company, your team, and sometimes your customers will look to you to figure out how to get through a crisis. And what we do believe is that personalities that are dynamic and quick reacting tend to be better at this. But I would actually argue that when you're quick to respond to a crisis, you tend up addressing the symptoms rather than the problem itself. As introverts, we're able to take a step back, be calm, empathetic, and help give our team a broader perspective of the situation. So when we are given ideas and we are bringing to solutions, they're not putting out the little fires, but they're actually solving the issue. But again, we never have problems in product management, so I don't know why I put this in. Now, I could give a whole bunch more of traits that successful product managers need, and also how introverts are successful. But the key idea is that introversion is a strength. Our ability to listen carefully, be empathetic, and just connect with people is what makes us really good at product management. Ultimately, product management is it's a people thing, and introverts are a people machine, believe it or not. Value and not volume. We all know how to use words, and we all know how to talk, but not everyone knows how to add value. Focus on doing that. It's easy to be the person who's always I'm sure we've all been in meetings where so much is said, but nothing is actually achieved. Let's break that cycle, please. Let's focus on the fact that you may not be the person who's always speaking, but when you do speak, everyone knows it's valuable. And lastly, be authentic in your leadership, whether you are an extrovert, whether you're an introvert, or whether you're somewhere in the middle. Choose a leadership style that is true to you. There's no point trying to fit yourself in a box and then ultimately feeling compressed. And there's no point trying to live up to a standard and then draining your genius. Choose you and then move forward. And that is me. Thanks for listening. And I'd love to stay in touch, get feedback, and whatever else is on this QR code. Thanks, guys.